At this point, I am angry. I am extraordinarily, very uber angry, if that's a way of saying it. Now, I just made a video about talking like pretty much my own personal thoughts about Girl Meets World's cancellation. I was very hopeful it was going to freeform, and from what I'm hearing, that ain't gonna happen. Now, I did watch Smurf's video. It did give me a little bit of hope, seeing how a lot of people have turned to Netflix and actually have put not only a petition to try to get it on Netflix or any other outlet that'll take it, they've actually made suggestions on Netflix. So guys, I am humbly asking you, for those who are Girl Meets World fans, to go to Netflix and make the suggestion, and I'm going to make sure I put it below. Girl Meets World Season 4. Put that on Netflix. But this is going to be pretty much about a rant. Well, pretty much a rant. I was so very hopeful that Disney was going to actually try to help this grow on another platform that'll be better for it, because maybe this will be a little bit too mature for them. And after watching a few other videos about possible reasons on why they decide not to renew the seasons or actually renew the series, here's my humble opinion. I really think that Disney does not want this show to literally eclipse all the other shows on their channel. Even though they have mature content, they're not willing to go a completely different route and change the brand. They're not willing to be a little bit more mature. Now, I understand that Disney has been around for a long time. And it was around, of course, during a time where, probably a more wholesome time. I don't know. I think it was around maybe the 1900s. I could be wrong. I don't know my Disney history. But other than that, there have been times that Disney actually has gone the mature route, especially in the 90s. Shoot, can we say Sleeping Beauty with Maleficent? Can we say Lion King? We actually saw a dead corpse. And yes, for those that actually did see Mufasa's death, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that literally did hit a lot of kids home. But the thing of it is, in the 90s, they did so much to try to be hip. They made all these shows, especially House of Mouse, which is pretty much mature as it can come, and a little bit in your face. Not really so much graphic-wise, but they were unforgiving about some of the things that they said, and they kind of poked fun at themselves, which really made House of Mouse fun. And then, yes, they had, all the other shows are trying to be like all extreme, like how it was in the 90s and stuff. They actually tried to adjust with the times. But now, I don't really know what's going on. It doesn't necessarily make any sense to me, the fact that a show that's doing so well and actually has a huge amount of fans all over the world be canceled on Disney. And not only that, they're not even allowing it to go to freeform, which is kind of shocking and a bit of a mistake on their end. Now, I actually thought that I was going to be ranting and angry, and I was angry. I mean, shoot, I was talking to my homegirl on Messenger about all this, and yeah, I was really pissed off, but honestly, I'm not giving up. That show is worth fighting for. And honestly, I'm like Smurf. I'm like Captain Sean. I'm like all those who are Girl Meets World fans. To not give up on a show this amazing. I would love to see these kids grow up on this show, just like how Boy Meets World. I want to see Riley actually see the world. We haven't really had that yet. I mean, sure, she had a whole new environment of high school, but if they actually continue where they are in London, I would love to actually see where it will go from there. I would love it. I really would. But honestly, in my opinion, Netflix would actually do it a lot more good because it's able to be itself. It's not stuck to the whole Disney trope about only having 3 seasons and only being this type of material and having things edited out. Because after looking at Girl Meets Texas Part 2 about the bonfire scene, I noticed that they did edit that kiss out. And after seeing it again, I'm like, oh my gosh, if they had that in, it would make so much sense. Because before, I'm like, all you did was hold her face. What? You just held her face. He actually did kiss her. After looking at it again, they edited it out, and you actually could see when they did it. But other than that, Netflix would do it so much more justice because it has the freedom to be who it needs to be, who it wants to be, who it is. it would actually allow that show to grow and flourish, develop a huge fan base. Because let's be honest, Netflix is the new cable. And Netflix is going to have a huge fan base of people, not only who's leaving cable already, they're going to be watching Netflix, and they're going to be actually watching that show. Not only that, we'll be able to see an entire season in its entirety. We don't have to wait 3 or 4 months like what Disney is doing. And here's another thing. The one thing that actually did piss me off that made me want to make this video is the promo that I just saw. Now, I don't know whether or not that's actually Girl Meets Sweet 16, but in my humble opinion, it looks like they're setting up for Girl Meets Goodbye. Are they skipping an entire episode to get rid of this show? Are they going to make Girl Meets Goodbye a two-parter? That's the one thing I'm wondering, because Girl Meets Sweet 16 should be happy. I'm sorry, it should be happy, joyous. This is your birthday. But for some reason, it's somber. I'm wondering whether or not this is actually going to be Girl Meets Goodbye. And it's going to be Girl Meets Goodbye Part 1 and Part 2. And Part 2 is going to be when everybody comes in, including the two Morgans. Honestly, if they do that, I'm like, you guys are itching to get rid of this show. And I can't figure out why. And you can't tell me that you can't make merch out of this. For those that remember High School Musical during its heyday, they made practically everything out of that franchise. From purses to clothes to calendars to backpacks to lunch boxes to glasses with Troy's face on it. And yes, I've seen all 3, so I know all the characters. But other than that, they can make merch out of Girl Meets World. What has stopped them? You can't tell me that you can't make merch out of that. You can't tell me you can't make a backpack or a pencil holder out of this. They did all that with High School Musical. You can't tell me that they can't do that with that show. It's something about that show that really pissed them off and rubbed them the wrong way. The same thing with Gravity Falls. And I'll talk to my homegirl, Tama Girl, about this on Messenger. Gravity Falls went to XD, and XD is where shows go to die. Seriously, not that many people actually have Disney XD or let alone watch it. And sure, Star and the Forces of the Universe, which happens to be a really great show. I probably said that entire title wrong. It is a good show, but let's be honest, who goes to Disney XD to watch anything? That's why they show it on the main network, so you can actually go back and watch the show. Nobody's watching Disney XD. That's where shows go to die. If they took Girl Meets World to the Disney XD, oh boy. I don't know if anybody will be able to find it, let alone anybody will want to watch it on that other station. And honestly, they'll still be stuck under the whole Disney trope. Now, speaking of Disney, and I know I'm rambling on here, but when it comes to Disney, Disney has made exceptions to the freaking rule. Can I say, That's So Raven? That's So Raven, I think, had about 4 seasons. And then there was Lizzie McGuire, who came close to having 5. It was end up being like, I think it was issues with Hillary Duff's mom and how much she pretty much messed things up from what I'm hearing. And I could be wrong when it comes to that. But they were actually going to have a continuation after the movie because it was doing so well as a franchise. But unfortunately, when it came to, number 1, Miranda was already gone. And number 2, there was issues with Hillary Duff's momager. So that kind of made everything implode, and we didn't really see what we wanted to see out of Lizzie McGuire, and we can't go back to it even if we wanted to because they're all grown by now. But other than that, all that I know is that show is eclipsing every single show on that network. I have seen many of the shows on that network, and let's be real here. When it comes to Liv and Maddie, there's only so much I can digest of that show. It can be funny at times, it can be cool at times, and yes, you have you have Dove Cameron actually playing 2 people. I'm kind of fine with that. The whole parent trap thing, without the parents being trapped, you just have twins that are never in the room but have different personalities and different lives, but they only come together when something big happens. It's weird. But other than that, I don't know. It's okay, but it can only be taken in small doses. Casey Undercover is a walking stereotype. Seriously, it just is. I'm sorry. Yes, you have Zendaya on there, But honestly, she is a walking stereotype on that show. The entire show is a walking stereotype. I'm just floored how long this show has been on the air. And honestly, the fact that she's a spy, oh, they've already done that, and it's called Kim Possible, and they did it right. And then you got Bizarre Vark. Bizarre Vark? I'm sorry, it's no iCarly. Seriously, iCarly was far better than Bizarre Vark. I'm just gonna say that. But other than that, honestly, the fact that they got rid of the show makes zero sense to me. Other than unless they were completely afraid that show was going to eclipse every single show on their entire channel, because they're literally allowing their entire channel to suffer, in my humble opinion. But y'all, this is just a random rant. I am still very hopeful that it's going to be going to Netflix, but it's all about the fans. It's the fans' loud voice coming together. It's everybody sending tweets to Netflix. It's everybody calling Netflix. It's everybody that's sending hashtag Save Girl Meets World Season 4. It is about being interactive. I have already sent a tweet to Netflix. I have already made suggestion to Netflix. Girl Meets World Season 4. I will leave it somewhere on the bottom for you guys to look at. But I am diehard about this show, seriously. And this show is worth fighting for, in my opinion. From all the garbage that you see out there these days, from all the repeats and reboots that you see these days, a show like this is a dime a dozen. And it's definitely telling the perspective of a young girl. This is worth trying to save. I'm just being real here. So for those that really are rooting for this show and want this show to stay alive, go to Netflix and make the suggestion, Girl Meets World Season 4. Go to Netflix.com. I will try to leave a link in the description box for you guys to go to. Once I find it myself, I will put it in the description box for you guys to go to directly and make the suggestion. Because the more voices are heard, the Netflix will hear you and they might pick up the series. Because they are notorious for picking up shows that have died off on TV. So I really do believe that Girl Meets World has a chance to be on Netflix, but it's up to us to have our voice and put it out there. So guys, I'm imploring you, have a voice. Go straight to Netflix, netflix.com, make the suggestion, Girl Meets World Season 4. And y'all, I'm really hopeful that if our voices continue to be heard, then we will finally see the Season 4 that we've always wanted on Netflix. Peace out.